It's over. Hell, for most of us, it has been over. But if it wasn't over for you before last night, if you were still undecided, if you were still unfamiliar with the leader of the cackling choir, if you were still walking around uninformed, not knowing how absolutely disastrous a Cam Harris administration would be, if you still had reservations about the Trumper, those reservations immediately disappeared after that Fox News interview last night. How many times have I said this week? It seems like every day things go from bad to worse for cackling Cam Harris. After last night, deacons at Woke United Methodist, they are officially sounding the alarm. They are demanding that some of their most influential women, who in reality have absolutely no influence whatsoever, unless of course you are a lonely woman who identifies with yentas. The deacons, they sent some of their most influential to Twitter to try to mitigate the damage. Son Hostin, she was complaining last night about stereotypes. I'm so sad. My risen queen is being portrayed as an angry black woman. The Great Pretender, the pretending Yenta, Alyssa the Farrah Griffin. She was given the task of trying to convince lonely women that normal women who watch Fox News, they were convinced to vote for cackling Cam after watching her complete meltdown on Fox News last night. Hey there, ladies, it's me, AFG. I know exactly what you're thinking. You're thinking the Trumper lied to me. Cam isn't dumb, she's just misunderstood. Cam isn't weak, she is tougher than a blind cat in a pack of wolf blitzers. Woof, woof, woof. I know Cam convinced you to vote for her. Make no mistake about it, last night, that was the beginning of the end. Last night was the first load of dirt thrown on top of the presidential aspirations of Cam Harris. Here in a couple of weeks, we will be laying her aspirations to rest in the woke cemetery where they can lay peacefully next to the donut diva, Brian Stelter. And you don't have to take my word for it. Uncle KC always comes with the proof. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link for the second channel in the description below. Topic today on the second channel is going to be crashing NFL ratings caused by the decline of quality of play throughout the league. Now, I don't know this for sure, but I believe this interview between Bret Baier and Cam Harris, it was supposed to last an hour last night. Going into the interview, I was skeptical of Bret Baier. I'm assuming that Bret Baier was the only person at Fox News that Cam Harris would agree to speak with. And by the way, all kidding aside, credit should be given to Cam Harris for agreeing to do this. At the same time, that is how low her expectations are, where we are giving her credit for doing an interview with Fox News. But if she thought that this was going to be a friendly interview, if she thought Bret Baier was going to continue the trend of giving Commander Cam easy questions like, who is your favorite Power Ranger? I like the pink one who identifies as non-binary. If Cam thought that he was going to take it easy on her, she was sadly mistaken. It was brutal. Absolutely brutal. And it wasn't because Bret Baier was asking her gotcha questions. It wasn't like he was asking her to solve the Pythagorean theorem. He wasn't asking her to differentiate between proper pronouns and proper adverbs. These were questions that any presidential candidate should be able to answer. Problem was, Cam Harris ain't a real candidate. Let's start with illegal immigration. A problem that didn't exist when Commander Cam started parading around the country identifying as the border czar. When Cammie and Johnny B. Biden entered the White House, illegal immigration, it wasn't a problem, it was a solution. 3.5 years later, it's one of the biggest issues in the country, and it's an issue that was created by Cam Harris. And we're supposed to believe that she's the one capable of solving it? Bret Baier asked Commander Cam if she could provide a rough estimate as to how many people have entered the country illegally in the last 3 years. Simple question. Simple question with what should be a simple answer. Bob, but my name is Bret. It doesn't matter what your name is. Just like it doesn't matter how many of my new friends accepted my invitation to the promised land. Bob, all I know is I sent out tens of millions of invitations. If I had to estimate a percentage of how many people accepted my invitation, I would say, Bob, it's around 400%. Bret Baier, he was asking Cam Harris for a number. He wasn't asking Cam to spice up the word salad with extra croutons. Bret Baier was asking for a number. 1 million, 3 million, 5 billion. What number did Cam Harris provide? Watch for yourself.
How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have.
Yeah, but do you, just a number. Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Bret, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
Believe it or not, I actually agree with Cam Harris. She is absolutely right. We have a broken immigration system. Anytime something is broken, the first question I always ask is who broke it. The other day, my surround sound in the living room wasn't working. My wife set up a new stand or entertainment center or whatever the hell you call that bullshit. When she did, she unplugged the surround sound and she didn't know how to plug it back in. The first step to solving my problem was to politely tell my wife, please don't touch it again. That way, we don't have to deal with that problem in the future. It's preventable. Same concept here with illegal immigration and Cam Harris. Cam Harris admits the system is broken. Cam Harris also claims that she can fix the broken system. But if she's the one responsible for breaking it, how in the hell can she be responsible for fixing it? Next, Bret Baier mentioned a poll that claims almost 80% of the country believes that America is heading in the wrong direction. That number is startling for a couple of reasons. Number one, it means 20% of the population spend their days with Johnny B. Biden looking for their collective lost minds. That number should be closer to 100%. And number two, that number should be terrifying for Cam Harris. If it's accurate, she has no chance of winning this election. Bret Baier asked the Supreme Commander about the poll. Given her position, I can openly admit that is a very tough question for her to answer, but not impossible. Cam could minimize her role in the White House. She could lean into being the pretend vice president and blame Johnny B. Biden for the state of the country. There are several angles here that she could take to answer this question. How did Cam respond? Watch for yourself.
They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam Vice President.
You and I both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
I don't know about you guys, but I don't know what the hell she's talking about. I don't think anyone knows what Cam is talking about. Hell, even her poor husband, Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. Even poor Dougie has no idea what Cam is talking about. How can you blame Donald Trump for the last 3.5 years of misery? You expect me to believe that people in America are miserable because Donald Trump's been running for president? You expect me to believe his presence is making people miserable? Now keep in mind, the Trumper's presence has declined because he made the wise decision to give the mainstream spotlight all to Cam Harris, so disasters like last night are magnified. This is exactly why I told you months ago the Trumpers should remain in the shadows. Do not create headlines. Don't take the spotlight away from Cam Harris, because everyone needed to see this. I'll play a couple of other clips for you guys back to back. Here you go.
Are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law. And it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. Under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available on a medical necessity basis to people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison policy and no gender transition surgeries
you know what, you got to take responsible for what happened
presidency.
in your administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in his presidency.
It's in black and white.
Would you still advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender reassignment surgeries?
I will follow the law. Suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone.
That clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked about that specific...
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you.
That was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times.
The thing is, this could have been much worse for Cam Harris. Like I said earlier, I think this interview was supposed to last an hour. It lasted all of 26 minutes because Commander Cam showed up late, and after 26 minutes of huge embarrassing failure, her staffers ended the interview early. Look, I have nothing against Cam Harris personally. We agree on nothing politically. I was raised as a free market capitalist and Cam was raised as a socialist. But outside of politics, I don't have a problem with Cam Harris. I'm sure she's a nice woman. If I was performing stand-up comedy, Cam Harris, she would be great to have in the crowd. She would laugh uncontrollably at all my shitty jokes. But we're not talking about Cam Harris attending a comedy show. We're talking about Cam Harris running the country, a job that she has proven over and over and over again that she is not qualified to do or capable of doing. Cam Harris couldn't hold up in a 26-minute interview with Bret Baier. How am I supposed to trust that she can stand her ground with Vlad Putin? How am I supposed to trust that she can stand her ground with China? What we witnessed last night, that is a direct result of a complete lack of experience. This is what happens when you have spent your entire political career hiding. This is what happens when you are not used to dealing with the mainstream media. For some people, this comes naturally. Clinton, Obama, they were naturals at it. Trump, he has 5 decades of experience dealing with the media. Nothing is a better teacher than experience. This isn't something that you can learn in a classroom at Woke U. Take my channel, for example. Go listen to my first videos and compare them to where I'm at today. My first videos were horrific. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. But over time, I got better and better and better. For the better part of 3.5 years, Cam Harris has been kept hidden. For the first 2 months of her presidential campaign, she was in hiding. And look, it's not just Cam who's inexperienced. You can say the same thing about Timmy Walz. But another problem they have, it always feels like they are hiding something. It is extremely difficult, damn near impossible, to stand up to serious questions when you don't have the truth on your side, or if you're afraid to reveal who you really are. Anytime I see a serious interview with Cammy or Timmy, which is very, very rare, they are constantly on the defensive, which tells me they've got something to hide. Give me your thoughts on this. Feels like Cam Harris is waking up from the dream of becoming president. To me, it's over. Is there any way she can come back from this? Less than 3 weeks from the election, is there any way that Cam can recover? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys later.